Unlock your true potential with the Leadership Community, where we empower men to embrace self-awareness and authenticity. Introducing the Leadership Community, where we believe in helping men become the best version of themselves. It all starts with self-awareness, and we encourage men to take a step back, pause, and reflect on their thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Embrace their authenticity and break free from societal expectations. Here are just a few testimonies from individuals. Leadership helped me develop self-awareness and embrace my authentic self. And now I feel more confident and fulfilled. Question: are you ready to unlock your potential? If so, join the Leadership Community today. Guys, welcome on into the Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Roberts. Our goal here is to influence, inspire, and ignite men to make the shift in their personal leadership by becoming the best version of themselves and unlocking true potential. It's here we'll share tools, tips, and resources to ignite self-awareness and authenticity. I want to say thank you for taking the vital step to becoming the best version of yourself. On today's podcast, guys, we got a phenomenal guest. We're talking to Tiffany Harvey. She's the NCO of TLC Harvey Investments and LLC, where she specializes in government contracting, consulting services. She oversees two unique ventures, Tiffany, Speak with Tiffany, and Pick Your Sweet Poison. I'm interested to learn more there. She's an author of a devotional titled Joy 365, a daily devotional for joy restoration, your daily source for inspiration as well as empowerment. Pick Your Sweet Poison is her passion project, where she encourages individuals to embrace mixology for creating lasting memories as well as joyful moments. Fellas, give a warm welcome to my friend, Tiffany Harvey. What's happening, Tiffany?
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, man. So grateful to have you on the show with us today. Listen, we get ready to get this thing started. Introduce yourself to the people. I know I did a halfway job, I hope, anyway. But tell the people a little bit more about who you are and how you desire to serve.
Yes, no, thank you. You did a great job with the opening. I appreciate it. You made me sound so important. But no, yes, I do a lot of different things. Right now, my career 9 to 5 job is I'm the chief of acquisitions at Department of Interior, but I'm also a naval officer, supply officer in the Navy Reserves for over 18 years. That's how my LLC got started, TL Harvey Investments. I'm now able to provide consultation services to small and medium-sized business, whoever wants to get into doing government contracting, being a government contractor. There's so many myths out there. There's so many people offering things to try to say you're going to win, but that's just not true. So that is definitely one of the things I've learned over the years, where small businesses want to get in and they can support the government. They just don't know how. So that's one of the passions that I'm now taking on. But then also, yes, speaking and writing. I am one of the co-authors in the upcoming devotional that will be released in 6 weeks, Joy 365. And that there came as in a time of pain. It really, that devotional allowed me to just share a small piece of my testimony with everybody, but, try to bring some encouragement to let everyone know that no matter what storms come into your life, you can overcome them, as well as God has already prepared you for them. So that's where the speaking and the writing comes from. It was never my passion to speak and write. But the one thing I learned through every storm is that your testimony is not your testimony. You're supposed to share it with others. So that's where the speaking and writing came from. And then the mixology, oh my goodness, just a hobby turned into now a business, because as I was going through my divorce, I had friends who loved on me, who poured into me, and they would not let me be alone. And that's the good thing about friendship. They actually saw a business in me that I was just doing just to make everyone happy. And so when a friend of mine said, you know what, you make great cocktails without using recipe cards, you need to look and see if you can make this into a business. And so that's what I did. I did some market research. I found there was a niche. I found it was something I could break into. So now it's my passion to teach others, especially women, to be comfortable with all types of liquor, to be comfortable making all types of drinks. Just like it's so easy for us to go into a mall and buy some shoes and clothes, I want you to go into your bar, into your kitchen, and make a great cocktail.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so much rich history about behind Tiffany, right? Let's unpack some of that. Let's
Yes.
talk about. I heard you say you got 18 years of service in the Naval Reserve. What moved you to go into serve your country?
Honestly, when I graduated Florida A&M University in '05, I could not get a job. I was a newly graduate. I didn't do an internship only because my internship failed when 9/11 happened.
Hmm.
So no one was doing paid internships during that time. But I put myself through school. So I could not take an unpaid internship. So when I graduated, I had no experience.
Hmm.
No one tells you that going in, that you graduate, go to school for 4 or 5 years, get this nice degree, and you cannot get a job.
Right.
So, so I ended up getting a job at Hertz rental car.
Uh,
And one of my good friends, one of my best friends, her mom was actually Army and retired Army. And she had just went into the Army. And her mom pulled me aside one day, say, you could go into any military branch as an officer since you have a degree.
yeah.
I didn't know that. So I went to every recruiting station, Air Force, Navy, Army. I didn't go to the Marine Corps. Nothing against Marine Corps. Love y'all, but wasn't for me. So Air Force actually they wouldn't take me. They told me my degree was not good enough. I had an agriculture business degree and a minor in economics. They told me your degree is not good enough. You should have had a regular business degree or a regular economic degree. So I couldn't go into the Air Force as an officer. Army tried to convince me to go in as enlisted.
Mm.
And I was like, no. And she had already warned me of that. She's like, no, they're going to try to persuade you. They're going to try to push you. Do not do it. It's a trick. I didn't listen. I didn't do it. So I went to the Navy. Navy was a young Black officer recruiter in there. And he was the only one that really sat me down and said, you could do this.
Wow.
He told me what book to go study for. He told me, how to prepare for taking the advancement test, for the officer test, because the Navy is the only one back then that had a different test for officers. Everyone else was still using the ASVAB. Let's say I took it the first time. I failed because I didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
The second time I took it, I aced the test so much where when I got accepted, they wanted to pick me up as an NFO, backseat pilot.
Mm.
That's not something I wanted. But I was able to come in as a supply officer, and that's the logistics part of the Navy. So dealing with the money, the finances.
Yeah.
So that's how my career actually got started. It was, thank God for a great friend and me being young and listening to someone who's trying to guide me.
Man, I'm going to tip my hat to that one because you're absolutely right. Young 24, 25-year-old taking some advice from an elder. We typically don't do that. And I think that is probably one of the leadership factors that I've noticed about your journey is that you've taken advice, you listen to what others had to say, and you not only listen or obeyed it because in the Hebrew word for listen is to obey, right?
Mm-hmm.
But many of us think that obedience is something that we don't want to be told what to do. But when you can follow a block of instructions, you'd be surprised where you can be led to.
Yes. But before you could be a leader, the old saying, you have to be an Indian versus being a chief. You have to know how to follow.
Yeah.
You have to know how to follow before you could lead.
Yeah.
So I was always taught that as a very young age from when I started working. I started working when I was 14.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, I think every job I ever been in, I always had a great leader to sit me down to explain to me the process. Explain to me, here's where you are now, but here's where I want you to go. But
Yeah.
but you have to do this so you could get here. You have to understand this before you get here. And they always tell me never have a big head.
Yeah.
You never have a big head and never stop learning.
Come on. Listen, that's amazing. Well, one, let me say thank you for your service. I'm a fellow service member too in the Army. I was in the Army National Guards and on active duty as well. And here's the interesting thing. I'm logistics. I started. So my question, my interest here is now is the Navy's logistical portion kind of similar to what the Army is. I worked in the S4. Is that the same?
Okay,
Uh,
so your S4 is going to be different from my S4.
okay, all
So
right.
what is Army S4? I don't remember all Army acronyms.
Um, don't, it's been so long. Don't give me the line here. But with logistics, so I worked at the battalion level.
Okay.
I worked at the battalion level, where and we oversee all the companies, ensuring that they had
All the
uh,
supplies and
yeah,
everything that
all
they
of that.
require. Got
So
it. Yeah.
that's what they.
So yes, it is. So when I was on active duty, I was the supply officer on the USS Nashville.
Okay. So
And I came in as a dispersing officer, that making sure everybody get paid, making sure
mm,
everybody was on travel, making sure the money was properly there. And then also oversaw the ship store, which again, making sure we had enough snacks,
mm,
food, supplies. Then from postal service to food service. So yes, I think it's all the same thing for the
okay.
Army. Anything financially
Yeah,
that had to be purchased on behalf of the government, yes, I oversaw.
that's good. But yeah, I love that. Good stuff, man. It's interesting when you meet fellow logistics. I can't get the word out.
Logistics.
There you go. But service members too, man. So I want to say thank you for your service. Now, navigating that space, man. What was that like navigating that space? I hear you took a block of instructions, you followed them, you applied them. What were some of the challenges moving forward in that career?
I'm gonna be honest, and I know I heard someone tell me one time, like, you couldn't have known, you couldn't have thought that. When I came into the Navy, I never thought, honestly, I was walking into a white man's world. I'm
Mm,
gonna be honest. I didn't grow up in a all black community or all white community. I grew up in a very mixed,
mm,
diverse community. I'm from Fort Pierce, Florida, and it's very mixed. It's a melting pot. So when I went to school from the time I was in elementary and on up, it was always multiple white people, black people, Asian, Hispanic. So I didn't deal with a lot of racial
mhm,
things until I came to the military.
mm.
And I never thought that in 2025, excuse me, in 2005 or 2006 when I came in,
What's happening in 2025?
I
You
know I'm all the way in the future. 2005 when I actually came in and I actually stepped on board my first ship in 2026. Yeah, 2006. Lord, I'm trying to just jump ahead. 2006, I will step and I will be the only black woman keeper at that time
mm,
because I was assigned to a LPD, and when the ships were designed back in the 60s, they were not built for birthing. The birthing was not built for men and women.
mm,
So the only females was officers. So it was one other female when I got there. Over my next about 2.5 years, more females will come. But I'll get one, maybe two other black women, but they was temporary,
mhm,
or they just leave. They wasn't really permanent. So honestly, I stepped on board. I was excited. It's like, okay, I'm here. But within my first, I'm going to say 4 weeks, I had two black male officers pull me aside and they said, you need to be prepared. Matter of fact, I got this warning even before I got on the ship from a chief.
mm.
And he said, you need to be prepared. You're going to need to be strong. I still didn't understand what everyone was telling me. They said, you are young, you are beautiful. You about to catch some hell on this ship again. 25. Like, what y'all talking about? It's just a job, right? That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. I'm just at another place. This is just another job that I have to do well. Until I got hit with fraternization.
Mm,
Now, I don't know if everybody who's been in the military know what fraternization is. Basically, someone accused you of improper behaviors with enlisted. So,
mhm,
i.e., sex or kissing, some kind of inappropriate behavior with one of my own guys.
mm,
I was, that's when I realized the Navy was breaking me down.
mm,
That's when I realized everything about me, my voice, who I was, my character, it was being chipped away slowly by the Navy. And it was getting too much for me to bear.
mm.
And it really did get too much for me to bear because I had to turn to alcohol. At 25, 26, no one prepared me for the mental challenge of what I had to deal with coming in as an officer. Not just an officer, but a Black female officer.
Mm.
I saw my Black male officers, they didn't go through half of what I got put through. The white female officers, they didn't go through half.
What was
Their voices never got challenged.
what was some of those challenges you faced there?
It was, if you go into, a room where you have to do a briefing, they didn't get questioned. Not
Mm,
they got questioned basic, but I got questioned like 10, 15 questions. It's like I had to always be smarter. I always had to, you know, over elaborate that I knew what I was talking about for whatever reason. I always seemed like I had to fight harder for everything when I was in a room.
mm. Yeah, man, that's tough. That's very tough. So you're always having to prove yourself, prove your knowledge, prove your why you here, so to
Correct.
speak.
Right.
Man.
Almost as like you shouldn't be here. You should not be wearing this uniform.
Mm. And how did you manage that?
Yes, I did turn to drinking for a short period of time
Mhm.
because it was convenient. It
Right.
was it was easy. Especially when you have people on a ship and you don't have anyone to talk to. And if you're deployed and you middle of the ocean and you have no one to talk to, no one to confide in, you turn to the easy thing. And for
Mm.
me, when we pulled in the port, I just go have a drink because it was a way for me to take the pain away, that initial pain away that I was feeling,
Yeah.
because I knew I couldn't fight everyone on the ship,
Right.
especially when you are raised. You don't allow no one to disrespect your name. You could do that on your own. And so when my name was being taken away from me, I didn't know how to fight. I was
Mm.
so young. I didn't know how to speak up.
Wow.
But it took, honestly, God knew what I needed. And I had a fellow officer, he was the chaplain, and he pulled me aside one day and he said, Tiffany, how are you dealing with this? And honestly, I really wanted to tell the truth. I wanted to just say, I'm hurt, I'm in pain, I can't deal with this anymore. But the immaturity side and the scared side said nothing. I just said, I'm okay. But he knew and he saw it written on my face.
Yeah.
So that day, he started sending me daily devotionals
Yeah.
every single day to start my day off. And that what got me through. He didn't, I don't even think he know I think he saved my life. He
Yeah.
changed the path of where
Yeah.
my life could have been by just sending me daily devotionals. And I read them every day. And it really changed my perspective when I woke up and put my uniform on of how I was going to deal with life.
Man, that's so powerful. I mean, I just want to unpack that because what I
Mhm.
hear is, one, there's an isolation. Who do I turn to and talk to in this moment? And I'm curious here. When the allegations came forward, was it from a peer or was it just from? Uh, do you know? I don't even know if you know that.
I honestly, I don't know who reported me.
Yeah.
I really don't. We just assumed what the situation was. I was the food service I was the dispersing officer, and I was in the wardroom, which is the officer's kitchen
Hmm.
mess. And I was doing a walkthrough with one of the guys in the back. So, but the door to go out that door was locked from the opposite side. I had no clue. And so I'm trying to get out the door, and I'm trying to get out the door. And I think when somebody finally opened the door and I stepped through, they saw me and they saw him right behind me. So they just
So,
assumed.
yeah,
But
made it.
again, you got to remember, this is the middle of work hours. This wasn't in the middle of the nights or
Yeah,
early mornings. This was in the middle of work hours. So to make that assumption was way off base.
man. Okay. I was just curious because so some of the challenges there was the environment that you were in.
Mhm,
That's why I raised that
mhm.
question. Like, where did that come from? Just getting more clarity on the environment that you were already in, but just navigating that space. To the place and point, it pushed you to a place where you just wanted to find the easy way out. I think sometimes when we face challenges, we're always looking for the easy way out.
Mhm.
How many of us just give up and give in to the first temptation? And unfortunately, that first temptation for you was drinking. How severe or how bad down the road did you go before you recognize it or catch it? Um,
I didn't get that far.
okay.
I mean, for me, I didn't get that far. It wasn't like I was waking up every morning where my days off I need a drink. I knew I took a drink before I stepped on board that ship. Now that I will say, because I needed the encouragement
Could
at
you bring
that point.
alcohol back on the ship or no?
Could we have alcohol on the ship?
Yeah.
Only during certain times if it was approved.
Okay.
So before, like, so if we was in port,
Uh-huh.
say if we was back in Virginia Beach, that was our home port. Before I walk on board, I knew I need to take me a drink that morning to
Okay.
make it through that day,
All right.
because you just didn't know what you were going to deal with. And
Well,
for me, I never knew what was coming my way. It could be
mhm.
the smallest thing. I'd be looking like, now what?
Wow.
Now
Uh,
what?
That's good. That's beautiful. And so you had this individual who saw something in you. Not only that, but who wanted to inspire you and give you more hope. Um,
Mhm.
and you said this hope helped you help you. He saved your life in so many words, right? And so how does that fast forward us today to what Tiffany does today, how she's making impact today?
Yeah, so it's crazy that he sent me daily devotionals to get me through that particular storm that I never saw coming. But this is what I say, where not all storms come into your life to break you.
Mm,
Some come to put you on your path and your purpose. See, God was preparing me in that storm that I didn't know to get ready for the storm of when I got married.
mm,
I was only married for 3 years. And when I got married, honestly, I thought I married, like most people, the love of your life. The first man I really gave my heart to, the first man I said, I really love you to, and genuinely mean it.
yeah.
We sometimes say stuff we don't mean. And
That's
so
the topic, sis.
we were married for 3 years. We had, beautiful jobs. I mean, beautiful home, great jobs. We had a brand new baby boy. But shortly after I got married, things changed immediately. Intimacy stopped, communication stopped, coming home later and later and later. Seems like everything I said stopped. So that storm got me ready, because what I didn't see coming was just after just hitting literally the 3 year mark, not even 10 days after our third anniversary, it got so bad to where I said, you know what, I need a break. Because we tried counseling, but nothing I said, he was hearing me. So I just said, hey, I remember my grandmother saying, a little time apart can make the
Mm,
heart grow fonder. So that's what I thought. I said, maybe we just had a little time apart.
mm,
And when I told him this plan, all I got was, I want a divorce. Not only I want a divorce, he bought a house. All this was in like 10 days. I want a divorce. I'm buying a house. I'm sitting there angry, enraged, hurt. I'm like, what just happened? Yes, but everything I do, I have a very structured life. I have to keep all the pieces together. So when my personal life was falling apart, I was going down fast. And
Mm,
then when I overheard him tell his mom that I was never his queen, a piece of me broke.
mm.
And I just saw this big storm coming into my life that I was like, where did it come from? And how was I going to make it through? But instead of turning to alcohol, I turned to my devotionals. The
Come on.
first thing I did
Mm,
was went back to what got me through the last time and
yeah.
applied it this time. And I had devotionals written all sticky notes all over my computer.
Man, you
I
talk about
mean,
shift.
yes, that's when I said, God, prepare me. And I used the tools that was given to me then by somebody to
Yeah.
now apply it to myself because I can now pour into myself. I couldn't do it then,
Yeah.
but he taught me what I needed when a storm come into my life unexpectedly and what helped me get through it.
Yeah, that leads to another. It confirms the obedience from the beginning. You know, while you didn't know what to do during the first challenge, and you handled it the best way you thought to handle it. You know, the easy way. We all want the easy way out. But the second time you found yourself in a challenge, and I'm just curious, how do you speak to people who find themselves over and over in a challenge and they keep falling, giving in to the easy way versus taking some time and assessing what you've been through before and what helped you navigate successfully the last time. And that's what I hear you did. I did what worked for me the last time. Speak to this for me. What do you say to the people who just keep falling into the trap of what's easy?
So this is something now I speak on and something I try to tell anyone. You have to take the time apart and you have to apply certain things. One thing you have to understand is understand the why you are in that storm. God is never going to put you in something that he could develop you in. Sometimes you have to go through the pain and the hurt and the tears. And it's not always going to be pretty. But it's almost like the military says, we got to break you down from your old self to build you up.
Yeah.
God sometimes has to put us in situations because why he tried to tell us, don't go down that road. Don't go through that door. But we didn't listen to the easy when he tried to tell us. So guess what? He had to make it hard enough for us to want to move, not to push us out of a certain situation. So when you're going through stuff, don't sit down and understand the lesson.
Yeah.
Understand the why you're there. Because if you don't, you're going to continue to repeat that same storm. And you keep wondering, like, why the same thing continues to happen? Because you didn't learn your lesson. You always have to learn the lesson of the storm
Yeah.
to not so the storm won't come and repeat itself. But when you're in a storm, you also have to find peace. And that's something I had to do. I had to find peace. It's like a hurricane. I'm from Florida. I went through a lot of hurricanes in my lifetime. And you will always hear meteorologists say the eye of the storm. You don't they're in the eye of the storm because they have rain, but they don't have all the winds. They don't have all the raging winds coming around them. It's not tearing the roofs off the houses like the outer part of the storm. So sometimes we have to be strong enough to walk headfirst in the storm to find the peace in the
Mm,
storm where you can now sit and you can listen to God and you could call on God and ask him, what is it that you want me to learn from this storm?
come
And
on.
you could figure out what you need to do now to get through the storm and come out victorious on the other side. Now, if you take the easy road, one, you're going to continue to repeat it, and two, you're not going to win.
Mm,
You're not going to win.
wow. And it's so funny though. We think we'll win though. We think that if we keep doing it my way, eventually something will break. When the truth is, we have to learn the lesson. What's the lesson? God wants to develop you in the storm, is what I heard you say.
Yes.
You got to understand that why and finding the peace in the storm, being able to find the comfort in the challenges, finding that man, this is good. Finding that finding that shelter in
Yes.
storm, and figuring it out. I think if anything, is the most difficult piece is figuring it out. How were you able to figure it out for yourself
Oh
coming
God.
out of some of them
Honestly, and I'm going to say something that we don't always speak in our community: therapy. I
Mm,
had two therapists, and I had family and friends. I had a spiritual therapist and I had a medical therapist. I knew I needed both of them to get me through because my spiritual side was being challenged because I didn't want to question God. I never got to the point where I said, God, why did you do this? Why did you knew this man wasn't for me? Why didn't you just, take him out of my life a long time ago? I never got to that point. But then I needed a medical therapist because the emotional side and the mental side took a hit so quickly,
mm,
almost like the military. So I knew who to turn to
mm.
quickly to get that help to pull me out from that depression, that anxiety, that I knew I was going down that road.
Yeah.
I needed both of them to keep me together. It was like a piece of a puzzle. If I didn't have one, I didn't have the other. I was not going to be whole and healed. So both of them, I knew what I needed. But then I had a good support system. So when
Mm,
I needed to vent and I needed to cry, I had family and friends. They allowed me to call them 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just because it was on my heart and I just had to get it. And I just had to get it out. So I would tell anybody, seek help, seek a therapist, either spiritual or medical, but also lean on not only your family and friends, but you got to lean on God too. He's the number one person you need to lean on. And I thank God because He put all these people in my life. He put them in my life to help me through. They're like my army. Like Joshua, David, they had a mighty army. They were my army. They did not let me fail. They made sure I had my armor on at all times. They would never let me go down a road of talking negative or bad or why I did this or how I got here or it was my fault. They never let me go down that road. And I thank God for them. And that's the only reason why I can sit here now and say, I am who I am is because of all of them.
that's real good. How do I find peace during the storm? And that's it right there. One, put God first. Be willing to seek therapy. Get surrounded around some great friends and family who are going to support you. You need a strong support system. I love that because a lot of work that I do, I work with formerly incarcerated community as well as those individuals in recovery, right? And so you really speaking to the hardest are those that are challenged uh, in their sobriety or long-term recovery. So I truly appreciate that. Is great. So this make me ask the question. I guess now I see how the book was formulated. Joy 365. Share us a little bit about the book, how it came together, and some of the uh, stories or writings behind the devotionals of what really was one or two devotionals that help you unpack for yourself.
Yes, so it's not my book. I'm actually one of the co-authors in this particular devotional. So Dr. Blackwell, a beautiful doctor, she has 4 other books, and this is her last one in this particular series. A good friend of mine, you interviewed Monique Pearson. She was one of my main friends who helped me through, and she knew my story. She knew my testimony, and she's like, "You have something to share."
Mhm.
And she's the one who connected the both of us. And it was almost an instant like, yes, you have to do it. You have to do this. Now, again, I don't know about you all. Growing up, reading, writing was not my thing. Even as an adult, I cringe sometimes when I have to sit down and I was like, okay, I got to write this document. I got to write this. I have to get up and I have to speak. I can do it. I've got to the point where I know how to get over it, but it's never been my comfort. I'm a science math girl. Give me some numbers, give me. That's me. So when I had to sit down and I agreed to do the devotional, I actually just went back to my journals. It took my
Mhm.
therapist, both of them, almost a year into therapy to get me to start writing because I was so comfortable of just talking, i.e., taking the easy way out.
Yeah. Man, you
They,
talking, sticking to your boy. Yeah.
right. They had to push me and say, just write. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just write. So when it came for me now to write my devotion, I went back and I looked at some of my journals, and it hit me. Everything that stood out, always, like you said, is circled around preparation. So my testimony is titled, I'm built for this.
Mm.
And it's all about you are well, you were and you are prepared, even if you don't know it. You have the strength of Joshua, Moses,
Come on.
Isaiah already in you. You could go through every storm and every battle. All you have to do is just trust in God. So this devotional she put together is 365 authors come together to share their story,
Mm.
their testimony, their affirmations. So it's like no other devotional out there,
Yeah.
because we're all so different, all walks of life. So you want to get a different perspective every single day. So you have the devotional piece that we all contribute to, but then you have a journal that you can
Mhm.
also purchase that has an affirmation that we all contribute to. So you get a devotional and an affirmation. Even if you just want to use a journal as, you don't have to write in it. You can use
Yeah.
it as manifestation. You can just write what you're manifesting for that year, 2024. Every day, just take a journal page and write it down. You can
Wow.
just write down how you're feeling. You can write down your hurt, your pain. It doesn't have to be anything. If there's no right way to what you write in your journal. And that's something I had to learn. And that's something I'm trying to share with everybody. My journal is not going to look like your journal, because my journey doesn't look like your journey.
Come
My
on.
walk is not like your walk.
Come on.
God only created one of us. We are uniquely made. So guess what? Whatever you write, that's coming from your heart.
Be
So that's
uniquely.
what's so special about this devotional. And I'm so proud to be a part of this project. And we're taking pre-orders now, but I cannot wait for the orders to really start coming in, because this is something it helped me. It released something in me that was still chained to me and I didn't even know.
Wow. That's powerful. That's good. Man, I'm excited. I think that's a powerful journal. I mean, book devotional that you guys have put together. 365 different points of views of
Mhm.
affirmations and scripture to support and empower women, right? To face the challenges in life. I want to say thank you for that. All right, so we're gonna transition now. We're gonna
Okay.
transition into the passion project, because now I have to ask this question because it's in my head. How does mixology becomes the passion project when it was like a challenge in your life? So answer.
Honestly, easy, because you had to find joy. And this is something that we don't do.
Mm,
When you're in pain, you're going through a storm, you're going through a battle, we never look for the joy.
mm,
And the Bible tells us joy comes in the morning.
mm-hmm,
So I had to find joy. And my joy was my friend, spending time with my friends,
mm-hmm,
just making a drink. And when my friend pointed it out, I realized when I'm in the kitchen or when I'm entertaining, I didn't think about anything else.
mm,
It was really just about us coming together, laughing, having a good time. And I just learned, I think that we all know, a good drink brings everybody together. A good drink, you could have a really good time and everybody could just let their hair down. So that's kind of where my mixology business comes. It started in pain, but the joy behind it during that time now continues on. And I just want to share that with everyone.
no, that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful. I guess part of me says, well, shucks, if it was a challenge for you, if was that was your vice that you went to because of the challenges in your life, um, and then you find this joy in it to bring joy to other people. That's hard. That's hard to conceptualize. I'm beyond
No.
conceptualize. You know how did the two come together for you? You know, and I think I heard you say, well, it's because I said I was able to do it because I was with friends.
Correct.
I wasn't doing it because I was focused on a challenge or a problem in my life. I wasn't trying to drink away my woes, my worries, but I was finding joy in what I do.
And
Speak
celebrating with friends. And
and
that's just it. You have to find the small things. And I look at that as a very small thing. I was entertaining. I was just enjoying the company of my friends and fellowshipping with them and having laughter. And it just so happened a friend saw you're really good at something.
Mhm.
It's like, I know you've been doing this for years. This is not the first time I'm gonna taste your drinks, but it's like she saw it in a different perspective that night.
Mhm.
God opened her eyes so she could share it with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, no matter what you go through, it almost go back to your other question, how you get through that storm and what you can learn. You also have to find the joy in it. You can find joy in life in anything. If you wake up angry, sad, that's how your day going to start. But if you look for just a little bit of things, the joy. And so for me, now making a cocktail and say, hey, taste this. Hey, try this recipe. Their eyes light up. I mean, I go everywhere now. I have my massage therapist, my acupuncture, my accountant, my lawyer. I say, hey, I done made some new drinks. Can y'all taste some for me? They're like, oh, sure, yes. We're not gonna say no.
Oh, no, that's beautiful.
And so
That's beautiful. Now, can these drinks be virgin or are they
yes, they can.
all? Yeah, okay.
I
All
do
right.
mocktails as well. So I have a cocktail recipe box called Pick Your Sweet Poison. That is the name of the business, Pick Your Sweet Poison. You can purchase it on Amazon. It has over 60 plus cocktail recipes in it. It's mostly, yes, geared towards women, but I have found that men actually love the drinks as well. So I'm definitely happy to hear that. Yes. But I do make mocktails as well. I don't have the cocktail recipe box yet for that. But if someone requests mocktails, yes, I'm starting to do a digital download now, working on getting that ready. So if you see me post and you say, hey, Tiffany, is that in your box? I'm like, no, but you can digitally purchase it
Oh,
now.
that's
And I will be doing the same thing for mocktails. So, yes.
good stuff. Phenomenal. Tiff, man, this was phenomenal. You're such a treat. Enjoy to speak with. And man,
Mhm.
you can hear the authenticity of your story and the impact that you desire to make in the world today. We're gonna close this thing out, man. And one, I want you to share a word for the people, man, to empower the people to navigate successfully. And then, secondly, let them know where they can find you, where they can follow you, and where they can get the Mixology cocktail and book from.
Yes. So, no, I mean, honestly, if I could leave one thing with everyone, know that life is going to happen. Life is going to be life, but storms are going to come. John 16:33 tells us that storming seasons are inevitable. But if you lean on Him, you get some help, professional, you lean on your family and friends, they can't break you. You was already prepared for every single thing. So all you have to do is just trust in Him, lean on Him, and stand in His word. And you're going to defeat every battle and come out victoriously every time. You can find me at on Facebook. You can find me at Tiffany Harvey. You can find me at Pick Your Sweet Poison and Speak with Tiffany. You can also find me on YouTube at Pick Your Sweet Poison. Instagram, Speak with Tiffany and Pick Your Sweet Poison as well. You could email me at pickyoursweetpoison@gmail.com. I do have a landing page that would take you to all my different sites. It's tlharveyinvestments.com. That would take you to tell you more about my the TL Harvey government contracts. That would navigate you to Pick Your Sweet Poison website as well as Speak with Tiffany. You will go and Speak with Tiffany. There is a shop page where you can find the pre-order for the devotional Joy 365. Again, the Pick Your Sweet Poison recipe boxes are on Amazon for $38.99 right now. I think we have a special. And also, you can find all my gear. I do make shirts and mugs. I'm built for this sweaters. Built for this mugs. I have an Etsy site called TL Harvey Speak. I post stuff every week. And honestly, I'm going to give y'all a little hint. Black History Month is coming. And if you are a military officer, you will notice there's no shirts out there for us.
Mm.
If you're a Black military officer, you notice there's no shirts out there for us. I'm taking care of that. So if you follow me, you will see all the emails come out within the next 2 weeks. I will have all new shirts that say Black military officers equal Black excellence.
Let's go. Listen, fellas, ladies, definitely support Tiffany and her dream and vision. I'm built for this clothing line. I think that's what, can I say that? Is that safe to say?
Yes.
I think it's awesome. I was checking them out. I love what you got. If you're looking for Tiffany, you're looking for a speaker, man, I encourage you, reach out to Tiff. She has some phenomenal topics that she loves to share with you, like how to find the peace during the storm, who to talk to when no one looks like you. Go ahead, visit the webpage, speakwithtiffany.com. Follow her on Facebook as well as Instagram. Man, this was great. I'm your boy, Dwayne Roberts, and this is the Leadership Podcast. Please subscribe to where you listen to podcasts. As you always hear your boys say, your success is in your hands. Have a phenomenal day with purpose. God bless.